Good evening and a warm welcome to this week's first edition of Primetime News. I'm Shalva Wells. In our top story, President Dr. Hage Geingob said the African Continental Free Trade Area has brought much promise to the development of industries that will create jobs and grow economies on the African continent.
This will greatly benefit cooperation at the level of the community of Portuguese-speaking countries, as 70% of its members are from the African continent. Geingob made the remarks while speaking on behalf of the 19 observer member states associated with the community of Portuguese-speaking countries during the 13th Conference of Heads of States and Governments of the Community of Portuguese-speaking countries held on Saturday in Luanda, Angola, on the occasion of the 25th anniversary of the Community of Portuguese-speaking countries organization. During his statement, Geingob congratulated Angola for hosting the summit, stating that even though Namibia may have chosen English as the national language, and Angola and some other sister countries chose Portuguese, as neighboring countries, Namibia and Angola are bound by blood, lineage as well as struggle. As observer states, we join hands with community of Portuguese-speaking countries in order to strengthen our local, regional as well as global governance architecture. The value of international cooperation and multilateralism that underpin the community of Portuguese-speaking countries is fundamental for the promotion and strengthening of peace and security, as well as socio-economic development, Geingob added. The President further remarked on the draft agreement on mobility among community of Portuguese-speaking countries signed by the Ministers of International Relations and Foreign Affairs in the presence of the heads of state and government at the summit, saying it is an important step in making sure that borders remain open to strengthen and promote business as well as economic relations in a time of the COVID-19 pandemic towards sustainable development.
The late Ovaherero Paramount Chief Advocate Vekui Rukoro is not dead but has transitioned into the afterlife and will be watching over the Ovaherero nation in its quest for genuine reparations from Germany. This, in essence, was the general feeling that could be deduced from the hundreds of people who bade farewell to the late chief, who was buried in Okahanja on Sunday, exactly a month after his demise to the novel coronavirus.
Two prominent figures in the Ovaherero community, the Ovaherero Paramount Chief Advocate Vekui Rukoro and the Wambandero Chief Kiles Munyukunguvaova III, were buried over the weekend on Sunday and Saturday respectively. The late Paramount Chief Rukoro died on the 18th of June 2021 at the age of 66 due to the novel coronavirus. His remains were taken to his native village of Omotukururu in the Koblenz area in the Oshodonjupa region, some 40 kilometers east of Okakarara, before he was finally buried in Okahanja. Namibians stood by the roadside to pay their last respect as the convoy of about 50 cars escorted the hearse carrying the Paramount Chief's remains. At Omotukururu, Rukoro was sent off with a 7-bullet gun salute. Rukoro's elder son Guvishita Rukoro vowed to carry on his father's legacy.
I want to promise you that I will be the type of father you were to your grandson that was born 4 days after your demise. You have brought Mama Dina into our lives for a reason. As much as she was your wife, she was also a mother to us. And she will continue being a mother even though you are no longer around. Dad, I remember you telling me the words, Ta Uthuberwe, which translates to die so you can be loved. And I can finally say now with my own eyes what those words meant.
Meanwhile, Ovambandero Chief Nguvaova III also succumbed to COVID-19 related complications in Khobabas in the Omaheke region, where he hailed from and where he worked extensively as a politician, educator and traditional leader until his death on the 1st of July 2021 at the age of 64. Oshodonjupa Governor James Werikwa told this agency that Nguvaova dedicated his entire life to serving the nation.
We need to understand that above all these things, in the end, we have to fight for social justice, we have to fight for socio-economic development, we have to fight and keep socio-economic cohesion, we have to ensure that we develop this country in unity as a people that are united and not divided under any single rule.
During both burials, it was difficult for law enforcement officers to implement COVID-19 protocols, which included social distancing and cap of 10 people for public gatherings.
Vice President Nangolo Mbumba today visited the COVID-19 vaccination sites around the city to familiarize himself with the vaccination campaign. Speaking to the media at the Oceana Church vaccination site, Mbumba said he is satisfied with the turnout. On an encouraging note, he added that once a large number of people are vaccinated, the country can open up the economy, sport events and all activities that have been halted by the pandemic.
Please follow the instructions from our health authority. They are the only one who can help us. Let us be calm and we will be helped. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Justice Minister Yvonne Dowsap has called on media practitioners to take their role very seriously and avoid problematic headlines that censor information on COVID-19. Dowsap made these remarks during a Friday night patrol with the security cluster in the capital city. The patrol was for observation purposes as well as enforcing health regulations and the curfew.
I trust that we understand that law enforcement are frontline workers, just like the media. And I want to take this opportunity to thank the media for running around with us and bringing this information to the Namibian public, because I don't know what we would have done without the media. But the media must take their role very, very seriously. We must avoid problematic headlines. We must avoid sensationalizing something as important as a public health emergency, because this confusion adds to people either not wanting to vaccinate or people not wanting to comply with the regulations. It's important that all of us as a collective and as individuals play our role and do our part in the fight against the coronavirus.
Stand by for your top roundup.
Welcome wherever you are on Planet Football.
You can go anywhere in the world, but nobody feels football like we do.
And they sing, they dare to sing.
It's a rhythm.
1-2.
1-2. Football.
La football.
Soccer. 1-2.
That moves us.
Salah to settle it. There's no feeling like that feeling.
It's so nice. It's so nice.
Nothing compares to DSTV's unbeatable football offering. So stay connected to watch the best football on the planet.
And now a look into the world of business and economics. The annual inflation rate for June 2021 stood at 4.1% compared to 2.1% recorded in June 2020, the Namibia Consumer Price Index report indicates.
The Namibia Statistics Agency report states that monthly, the inflation rate increased by 0.5% compared to 0.3% recorded a month earlier. The main drivers of the June 2021 inflation increase were food and non-alcoholic beverages as well as transport. The report said the highest change in the inflation rate was witnessed in the categories of transport that increased by 9.6%, followed by food and non-alcoholic beverages at 7.3%, miscellaneous goods and service by 6.4%, furnishings, household equipment and routine maintenance of the house by 5.6%. Increases were further witnessed in the categories of health with a 3.3%, alcoholic beverages and tobacco by 2.5%, recreation and culture by 1.8%, while communications, housing, water, electricity, gas and other fuel increased by 1.3%. Food and non-alcoholic beverages, which accounts for 16.5% of the total consumer basket, increased by 7.3% during the month of June 2021 compared to 4.7% registered during the same period last year.
Moving to the Kavango East region, where Governor Bonifacius Wakudumo says the region will devise modalities to revive the regional economy, especially in the agricultural sector, to contribute to the implementation of the Harambee Prosperity Plan 2. Wakudumo said this on Friday while delivering his second State of the Region address virtually.
The governor said in order to assist the economic recovery of the country, the region will devise modalities to revive the agricultural sector, especially the green schemes, livestock farming and horticulture, as part of the region's priority areas. I urge the residents of the Kavango East region to remain united, hold hands, and adhere to the measures and regulations of COVID-19 as we forge in transforming our abundant land and water for a sustainable agriculture-driven economy toward food security and employment creation amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, said Wakudumo. He added that despite the pandemic, Kavango East will attempt to improve education and health outcomes as well as fight against crime and strive towards poverty eradication. The governor said the region will strive to improve the quality of the livelihood of its region. It will foster good governance across all sectors through accountability, transparency, integrity, and ethical values. Under the 2021-2022 medium-term expenditure framework, the Kavango East region received an allocation of 162 million Namibian dollars to be used to implement, monitor and evaluate capital projects.
It's time for the business and economics roundup, followed by a trip to the marketplace.
We were born for this moment. For every rise, every fall, to make the impossible possible. To create moments that inspire and live the thrill of excellence.
On the grandest stage of all.
Forget the past, for the future awaits. This is that moment we've all been waiting for pride, for country, for you.
Brilliant performance that was.
The Olympic Games Tokyo 2020. It's go time on GoTV. Love it.
Welcome back. And now we cross over to Michael Madimba with tonight's latest sports update.
Thank you, Shelva. Good evening and welcome to Sport Planet. We commence with athletics news. President Dr. Hage Geingob said he was disappointed with the decision taken by World Athletics to disqualify Beatrice Masilingi and Christine Mbumba from competing in the 400-meter race at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Our sports journalist Hesron Kapanga filed this report.
Earlier this month, World Athletics announced that the two sensational Namibian sprinters were barred from competing in the 400-meter event at the upcoming Olympic Games in Tokyo, Japan, after being found to have naturally occurring testosterone levels beyond those specified by World Athletics. Speaking during the sending-off ceremony of the Olympics athletes on Friday, Geingob said, "This discrimination that is brought up when an athlete is doing well must come to an end." He said the Namibian government would protest World Athletics rules on athletes with differences of sexual development following testing conducted by the global body. World Athletics bars athletes classified as differences of sexual development from competing in the 400, 800 and 1,500 meter races in the female category unless they artificially reduced their testosterone levels, which the global body claims gives the runners an unfair advantage. Gengob encouraged the Namibian athletes to give it their all in the events they will be competing in at the Olympics. Despite being barred from competing in the 400 meter, both Mbumba and Masilingi will be able to compete in the 100 meter and 200 meter events, and the two sprinters will be making their maiden appearance at the competition in the 200 meter sprint. The rescheduled Olympic Games in Tokyo, Japan will take place between 23 July and 8 August 2021.
African cross-country champion Tristan Delange will be representing Namibia in the men's road race event at the rescheduled 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games on Saturday. The Games start this coming Friday, the 23rd of July. Once more, Hesron Kapanga, our sports journalist, compiled this report.
Delange will replace 2019 National Road Race champion Dan Craven, who tested positive for COVID-19 in Spain, where he is currently based. The 24-year-old Delange finished second during the National Road Race Championships on 2 occasions. He was 17th at the African Games in road race in 2019 and 36th at the Commonwealth Games in 2018. In an interview with the Namibia Press Agency on Sunday, Namibia Cycling Federation President Axel Thiessen said the federation is proud to effect the change in the Olympics road cycling team at such short notice. The changes were obviously necessitated by medical reasons. Dan Craven is very sad to miss the opportunity to represent Namibia for the 3rd time at the Olympics, he said. Thiessen said Delange is a very suitable and capable replacement for Craven because he continued with his training and is in top form at the moment. Meanwhile, Delange told the Namibia Press Agency on Sunday he is excited to represent the country, but that it will be a big challenge filling the big shoes of Craven. Also speaking to the Namibia Press Agency on Sunday, Craven said he has been preparing for the Games for the past 4 years with the support of the Namibia National Olympic Committee and the Namibia Cycling Federation, and it is infuriating to lose a spot just a day before he was supposed to travel to Japan. The cross-country team will start with their competition on 26 July with Michelle Foster in the women's category, while Alex Miller in the men's category will compete on 27 July.
Your sports roundup awaits you.
Getting GoTV was the best decision James has ever made. See, James has always watched football wherever he can. Sometimes it got awkward. It was never really comfortable. And finding a good place to watch became more and more difficult, not to mention costly. Traveling for his games took its toll on James until he discovered something big. Now that James has GoTV, he can finally enjoy the perks of home ground advantage. Good for you, James. Get home ground advantage with GoTV. With superstar players competing in the world's biggest leagues and cup competitions, you'll be spoiled for football choice. So get and stay connected to GoTV for the best football season yet. GoTV. Love it.
That's all the news we had for you this evening. We thank you for tuning in. Give us a thumbs up and share. If you're new to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Also click on the notifications bell to stay informed on the latest happenings locally and globally. Catch us tomorrow for your dose of primetime news. From myself and the entire crew behind the scenes, it's good night.